Welcome to Heartspeak Podcast, episode 85. Watching out for magicians and puppeteers. Well, here we are, my friends, at the full moon. This is just not any full moon. It's a full moon that is a lunar eclipse. It is a full moon where Mars is in Pisces, square to the sun and the moon. The sun is in Gemini. The moon is in Sagittarius. And it is so much, there's so much going on in the world, I'm sure you're all aware of it at this time, that sometimes it's hard to know what is true, what is not. And if we understand, first of all, Gemini is about information, so much information out there. You can listen all day, you can read all day, you can watch all day, lots of information. But what is true is the Sagittarian. So the moon in Sagittarius is about what is the truth, what is clear, what is clarity, what's expanding us. Because it's an eclipse, the truth is being hidden to us or from us. Or we're having to dive deep to know the truth. Does this make sense? So with the sun opposite the moon, we now have Mars is in Pisces square. Mars in Pisces, Mars, passion, Pisces, creativity, imagination, new ideas, unlimitedness, but also addiction, delusion, illusion, craziness. So it's almost as if with that square, our reality is going crazy. Things are crazy on the streets. There's riots. There's looting, there's everything that's happening here in America that is crazy making. But it's also about what is going on around the virus and around the vaccines. There's a lot of unknown, there's a lot of things, data keeps changing. What is the truth? What is really going on here? And what I'm wanting to give you as an idea is that everything is not as it seems. And one of the areas that is being activated at this time is the solar plexus. The second area is the base chakra. The solar plexus, why I'm speaking about that, that's an emotional center. It's a psychic center. And I know many of you are psychics that are listening. Many of you are empaths, you're sensitive, you're intuitive, but you may also be emotional, and you may not always know the difference between the two. You feel someone's emotions, you pick up on someone else's energy. You may be feeling very scared, or you may be feeling very angry at this time because of your ability to pick up what's going on in the world. But the solar plexus is also the place of your personal power. Just feeling okay about yourself. It's not powerful over. It's just like, hey, I'm okay. But that sense of personal power also disempowers those who would like you to stay under their control. So for thousands of years, certainly 2,000 years, the major religions and major institutions have used emotions and things that we can't yet know about but could happen, i.e. again, imagination. They've used our emotions and imaginations to control our own personal power. And that's what I'm seeing is happening now. We have seen literally from probably the middle of March, if not before, this overwhelming energy of, first of all, there's an enemy out there that you can't see, but we can see, i.e. the virus. There's problems out there that we're protecting you from. And it might even be your neighbor, and you don't know this. They could infect you and you wouldn't know. So all of this is the sort of Piscean energy, not just Mars in Pisces, but Neptune in Pisces. I don't want to confuse you, but it's that which you can't see, but we can see it and we know what's going on, and trust us, we know how to protect you from this unknown quantity. And why is this happening is because, as you've heard me say, we are living between two worlds. The old world, which we really could understand, maybe not, but we could negotiate, navigate ourselves in there, is crumbling, dissolving. And we're evolving into a new world. And in this middle, in this mist, in this mystery, we don't know who we are. So we're literally saying, can someone show me who I am? Can someone show me what to do? Can someone tell me? And there are puppeteers stepping forward and saying, I know the way. I'll do it. I'll look after you. I'll give you a sense of security. And here are the new rules. Stay in your doors. Stay inside. Stay at home. Wash your hands. Wear your mask. Okay, I'll do that. Will that keep me safe? Yeah, of course it will. Well, they don't know. But because they're things that we know how to do, oh, I can wash my hands. Oh, I can do that. We've been doing them. I'm not getting into the discussion whether the virus is infectious. I'm saying is, look what happened to us. Overnight, almost, the whole world fell into a pattern of obeying someone else's rules and disempowering ourselves. And what happened is, as I've said, the major religions have used this by inciting guilt, shame, victim, martyr, anger, fear, all emotions. So you can probably imagine the religion that connects to the guilt and the one that connects to the victim, one the martyr. Every religion has based us, if you don't follow these rules, feel these feelings, you do not belong to our tribe. And so it's a sort of tribal energy, and it's being used to keep us small. And I'm suggesting to you that this is a time where the solar plexus needs to be able to say, I feel okay just as I am, no judgment. And I need to stay safe in my base chakra. I believe in myself. And how are you going to do that for both of them? It's not by just focusing on the solar plexus and the base chakra. I have shown you that the base chakra is a false sense of security, belonging. That when you really root yourself into Mother Earth, your security is like, this is where I belong. This is where I get my security. Not in my base chakra, not by following anybody else's rules, but by trusting myself, rooting into something bigger than I am. And the connector between the solar plexus is to the heart chakra. So instead of saying, I'm okay just as I am, it's I'm okay because I am connected to everything. That's love. I am loved. So it's not just I'm loved by being a special person. I'm loved because I can't not be loved. I'm part of everything. That makes sense? So what I'm asking you to recognize is that when we allow our emotions, and they may even just be our psychic emotions, to drive the show, we are taken away from our center. We're taken away, and we're living in a reality that is being created in order to keep us powerless. When we don't root into the earth, we are following the rules of someone else's setting in order to give us security. Do what I say. This will keep you secure. No, it won't. What's going to keep you secure is rooting yourself, being unique, tapping into your essence. This is connected to the full moon, being all that you can be, not by someone else's rules. And we know when the puppeteers are working, or the magicians. The magician is the one that says, hey, let me create this world for you so that you believe you're in it. And that's what's happening. We're seeing it on the televisions. We're seeing it on the internet. You're saying, no, this is reality. This is true. Is it? It's only as true as where you're standing at that time. Someone else's point of view shows a different picture. I'm not asking you to see everybody else's point of view, but be very aware of what is the cameraman, the person who's being interviewed, what is their opinion? What is their perception of reality? What is the basis of their reality that's getting me to believe that what they're showing me is true? And the one you want to connect to is their information bringing me closer to myself? Is it bringing me closer to other human beings? Am I trusting more? Or is it just feeding into a belief that it's either for or against? Anywhere you're seeing fear between people, divisions, bias, racism, whatever you want to call it, it is puppeteer work. Because the puppeteer wants to keep us separate, wants to keep us apart, wants to keep us fearing each other. And then to be able to step in as the savior, follow me and I'll keep you safe. Follow me and I'll make sure you have a job. Follow me, I'll do this for you. I'm suggesting that what's going on now is a plan to come in with some sort of law system that says we're doing this for your good. And it will mean more restriction, more limitations, because, hey, we're doing this for you. These are what we might call false flags. You might know about false flags that have occurred throughout for many, many years. Something occurs which allows a plan to be put in place. A virus, let's have a vaccine. This happened, let's have more restrictions. What's happening now? Many people are suffering from this. Yes, things that shouldn't be happening are happening. But it's also being used as a way of controlling. And it's controlling through us not trusting each other, through shame, through fear, and through anger. And I sense, and this may be taking you way outside your zone of mindset, even those who in America I'm talking to are rioting, looting, I don't think they know why they're doing it. I think the level of mind control is so great now that we really don't always know why we're doing something. And all I would be saying is, come back to your heart, root in the earth, follow the moon. And ask, does this information bring me closer to myself or take me away? Does this make me fear more people, be ashamed of who I am? If any of those, or feel guilty for who I am, any of that is not bringing you back to yourself. Your actions, my actions, need to be based on a truth that is true to me, not to someone else telling me. It needs to be true to me, and I'm trying to say that to you. And I don't like being manipulated. Maybe you don't. My pleaser that I spoke about, my pleaser is a manipulator. I read how other people want me to be and then I become it. And you might say, oh, well, that's just being a nice person. No, I'm manipulating other people to see me in a certain way. I often use that word manipulation and people go, oh, I hate that word. I'm not a manipulator. You probably are. So I've got to say, if you imagine your small manipulation, pulling the strings of other people, how you want them to behave, how does that look on the bigger scale? You know how you can change people's thinking by your actions. You imagine that happening on a big scale. You imagine how you can influence people just by saying, oh, I thought you were a nice person, or you know, please love me, whatever it is. How do we use emotions in our daily lives to change people's way of relating to us? That has to stop. So before we do the meditation that we're going to do, the full moon is being full of yourself. That means it's not limiting your power, but it's also not taking someone else's. When we are full of ourselves, when we are standing in our full light, owning all our sides, we don't need anybody else's power. In fact, what would we do with it? Wherever there are power games, all occurring through the solar plexus, manipulations, using guilt, using fear, using judgment. Whenever we play power games, passive aggression, all of that, we are not in our power. When we're in our power, we don't want anybody else's power. We don't need it. Hey, why would I want yours? Stand in your power. Stand in your fullness without fear of criticism, and without the need for approval. Be seen for who you are. So are you ready to do a meditation with me? As always, find yourself in a quiet place. Wait until you can do that and wait till you can close your eyes. Now, take a few deep breaths. In short in breath, long out breath, breathing out all the thoughts, all the things I've been talking about. And then settle yourself fully into your body. And we're going to start now by going to the heart chakra. Just breathe in and out of the heart chakra. And imagine that in the very center of your heart chakra, the very center of you, is the universe. Everything that ever was. And I'm giving you a special pair of goggles. You might have seen night goggles where you can see in the dark. Some people are wearing virtual reality goggles where they only see things in a certain way. But we're going to have a pair of goggles that will allow us to see everything. And these goggles are special because they can also hear and see and feel. So wearing these goggles, this awareness in the universe, in the center of your heart, see how that feels. Like before, we're going to go through the different layers coming from the universe. So imagine that through your heart, there's a layer that is outside the universe. That sounds strange, but of a lesser density, a lesser frequency. Universe is unlimited. We step into the spiritual body. The spiritual body allows us, with these special goggles on, to sense the connectivity between all life. See it, feel it, hear it. And now stepping again into the soul body. They're not separate, but the soul body, again, is another frequency. As you step into the soul body, you're more aware with your special goggles that can hear and see and feel of almost a greater focus for yourself, not just of universal energy, but you can see and feel your own path, your own knowingness. You know you're part of the whole, but you're one ray of sunshine. And yet everything exists within you as well. Now we move into the mental body. I think as before, with our special goggles and our hearing, there's a lot of noise. Maybe too much. Again, I'm giving you different dials. You can dial it down if there's too much noise. But you also start to see the strings. So it's not just it's like a wave of knowledge. But if we take it to the puppeteer, you see that there are these waves of information attached like a string. Before we come back to look to see who's the puppeteer, let's go even to a more superficial level. We go to the astral body, the emotional. Again, you've got your special goggles on. You're protected in some ways from taking on the energy. But see how those strings of knowledge, strings of information are affecting the people emotionally. Watch it. Watch what's happening around you. Maybe in your own family. Maybe in your friends. See how they're reacting to being pulled, a string being pulled, a piece of information being given. And then we can go even more superficially and see the actions themselves. How the actions are based on the emotions, the strings. Now we come back, please, into the astral body again. And with your special goggles, see how well connected the people you're looking at are to the soul body, the mental body, the soul body, the spiritual body. How connected are they to their own inner light? What is driving them? Is it just the emotion, just the belief? Or are they being driven by their soul? And step back into the mental body. The mental body of us, our own mental bodies, but the emotional and mental bodies. How many strings are being pulled? And you might be able to see the puppeteers. And for some of you, you may even be able to hear what messages they're putting out. What are they doing? Why are they pulling the strings? And now step back and into the soul body, your own soul body. Are you connected to your soul body? I hope you are. And are the puppeteers connected to their soul body? It may well be, yes, they are. They're doing something that they feel their soul has called them to do. Or maybe they're not connected. And I want you to imagine that in the center of your heart, which is where we're working from, we have this beam of light. And you're not judging, you're shining your light, your fullness from your heart chakra. You're shining light on anything that has lost its way or has lost its connection. You're shining a light on a truth. You step back into the spiritual body and you feel the change and you see more lights, not just your soul, spirit, the spirit world joining, light shining, not just shining onto, but also receiving back a total connection. Everything's connected. This world, this beautiful world, not just surrounded by light, but integrated into it. There's no separation between us and the spirit world. And then finally back into the universal body that sits within the center of your heart. And feel that we are not separate. Nobody's separate. And that might feel like a love. It may feel like just a connection. But there is no separation. There's no us and them. There is only us. And knowing that all of those levels live within you. And knowing that you can go back and do this meditation again. And make your choice what you do with your light, your full moon, how you shine your light. And keeping true to yourself, gently bring your awareness back into the room where you are. And in your own time to open your eyes. And I wish you well. Thank you for joining me. Spread the word. Bring us not my truth, but be true to yourself. Love from the place of your own inner truth, your own inner integrity, through your heart, rooting, and through the moon and above. With many blessings now. Bye-bye.
Thanks for listening to the HeartSpeak podcast with Dr. Christine Page. Please check out all HeartSpeak episodes in the podcast archive section on www.christinepage.com. HeartSpeak is also available on iTunes, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Stitcher Radio, and now playing on iHeartRadio. You can also watch the archive podcasts on YouTube. Connect with Christine on Instagram, LinkedIn, and Facebook, including her newest Facebook group, The Great Mother Calling. Do share with family, friends, colleagues. Join us next time for another edition of HeartSpeak.